This is Energy Frontiers for the week, proudly supported by the African Energy Chamber. I am your show host, Justina Okechukwu. We begin this package with some energy news making the headlines from around the continent. Uganda's Energy and Minerals Minister Ruth Nakambiwa says the country has started the preparations to evaluate the Buyinda nuclear power plant site in order to start generating at least 1,000 megawatts by the year 2031. Publicly listed independent E&P company Africa Oil has told investors that an independent review of the company's prospective resources has been completed. The Canadian firm says it is progressing plans to conduct a two-well campaign on Block 3B and 4B offshore South Africa and is in discussions with various potential partners to farm out up to a 55% gross working interest in the block. London-based oil and gas company Energen said the first gas has been delivered at North El Amriya and North Idku in the Mediterranean Sea that is offshore Egypt. The remaining 3 wells are expected to be brought online over the course of the year. Offshore drilling contractor Shelf Drilling revealed that it has secured a 2-year contract for one of its jackup rigs with an undisclosed company for operations off Nigeria's coastal waters. According to the company, the contract value is approximately $118 million and operation startup has been planned for May this year. Power solutions company Tullow Energy says the company has progressed steadily over the past 6 months and remains on track to connect its Lesedi gas-to-power project to the electricity grid in Botswana. Tullow Energy reported a loss of 2.3 million Australian dollars for the first half of the year 2022 from 1.3 million Australian dollars in the previous year. UK-headquartered company Afentra plc says it has run into documentation delays in completing deals with Angola's state-owned oil and gas company Sonangol and Croatia's Ina Industrija Nafte. The process will allow Afentra plc to acquire interest in blocks offshore Angola, but says it is now close to agreeing terms on the license extension award. The African Energy Chamber has launched a new initiative called the African Women Business Energy Network, set up to celebrate and empower women in the energy sector. The African Women Business Energy Network will serve as a platform to advocate for women towards career advancement in the energy industry. And that was a snapshot of your energy news headlines. When Energy Frontiers return, we look at how women leaders are breaking barriers for gender equity. Welcome back to the program. Women represent only 32% of the renewable energy industry workforce. This figure, however, is substantially higher than the percentage of women in the traditional energy sector, which stands at only 22%. That was according to Damilola Ogunbiyi, the CEO of the UN agency known as Sustainable Energy for All. Ogunbiyi was speaking at a high-level policy dialogue on breaking barriers for gender equity, organized by the United States Energy Association in collaboration with the USAID to celebrate the International Women's Day 2023. Let's take a listen.
Women are disproportionately impacted by the lack of access to energy. Today, 1/3 of the global population remains without access to clean cooking. The use of inefficient, polluting fuels and technologies is a high risk and a major contributor to diseases and deaths, particularly for women and children in low and medium income countries. We therefore cannot leave these underserved populations behind in an effort to address climate change. Bridging energy access gaps must be at the heart of the clean energy transition. We need women to bring their perspectives to forge a more innovative path forward and to build climate adaptation solutions that fully address their specific needs and challenges. The energy sector is behind others in terms of gender balance, representing only 22% of the workforce comprising of women. Women in the sector are also underrepresented in decision-making roles, with less than 35% of board members and directors globally being women. Women in the energy sector lack access to support networks, role models, and champions to help advance their careers and realize their goals. Though there is still much to be done, we continue to see many initiatives being developed to create spaces for women to advance in their careers and advocate for systematic change.
In the meantime, South Africa has a new electricity minister. But how much work is in store for him? We'll be right back.
Imagine a future where tomorrow's solutions build a world of opportunities for all, and where human potential is truly realized, where every child has an equal chance in life, no matter where they were born. Imagine the potential of a continent built on low-carbon oil and natural gas and abundant renewable energy. Imagine Mozambique, Angola, Nigeria, Uganda, Senegal, Egypt, Namibia, and Algeria being let free to develop their natural resources without pressure from wealthy countries to leave it in the ground. Imagine an Africa where we cut red tape bureaucracy and provide better fiscal terms so we can compete globally for energy investments. African Energy Week is the African Energy Chamber's annual event held at the Cape Town waterfront, uniting African energy leaders, global investors, and executives from across the public and private sector for 4 days of intense dialogue on the future of the African energy industry. Showcasing the latest technologies and innovations to 5,000 plus registered delegates from over 100 countries and international professionals from across the global energy sector. Be part of the future of the energy industry and join the energy movement by becoming an official sponsor, exhibitor, delegate, or partner. African Energy Week.
Welcome back. I am Justina Okechukwu. Now, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a new Minister for Electricity to tackle a crippling electricity crisis in a mini cabinet reshuffle that Mr. President announced this week. The President announced that the new minister will be tasked with significantly reducing the severity and frequency of Eskom load shedding as a matter of urgency. Let's take a listen.
We said in the State of the Nation address that our most immediate task is to drastically reduce the severity of load shedding in the coming months and ultimately end load shedding altogether. Our focus is on the full and urgent implementation of the Energy Action Plan that I announced. As government, Eskom and other stakeholders, we are determined and committed to the plan. I'm therefore announcing the appointment of a minister in the Presidency responsible for resolving the energy crisis. The primary task of the new minister will be to significantly reduce the severity and frequency of load shedding as a matter of urgency. Of course, working with a whole range of other entities. To effectively oversee the electricity crisis response, the appointed minister will have political responsibility, authority, and control over all critical aspects of the Energy Action Plan. This will help to deal with the challenge of fragmentation of responsibility across various departments and ministers, which, while appropriate under normal circumstances, is not conducive to addressing the crisis that we are in. The minister will be expected to facilitate the coordination of the numerous departments and entities involved in the crisis response. The minister will work with ESCOM leadership to turn around the performance of existing power stations and to accelerate the procurement of new generation capacity. To enable the minister to do this work, I will, in terms of Section 97 of the Constitution, transfer to the minister certain powers and functions contained in relevant legislation. In the State of the Nation address, I announced that a national state of disaster had been declared to respond to the electricity crisis and its social and economic impact. The recently published disaster regulations empower the Minister of Electricity to issue directions to, among others, exclude critical facilities from load shedding where technically feasible, to expedite various regulatory processes for energy projects and enable ESCOM to undertake critical maintenance more quickly and efficiently. The Minister in the Presidency for Electricity will liaise with other relevant ministers to ensure coherence in the issuing of other directions during the national state of disaster. This minister will remain in office for as long as it is necessary to resolve the electricity crisis.
Meanwhile, the South African Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, says that African countries must work together and mobilize financial support to solve energy challenges, which include the lack of infrastructure. The Energy Minister was speaking at the Africa Energy Indaba 2023 conference held in Cape Town. Here is an excerpt.
Now, it is pleasing that Africa is uniting on the principle of energy transition. That it must be people-centered, take into consideration the socio-economic condition of communities that will be affected, and take into consideration Africa's developmental needs. Such a consensus found an expression at the conference of the parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP26 and 27, resulting in a resolution that talks about phase down on unabated coal power rather than view of the lobbyists who call for the abrupt phase out of coal use. Now, the African continent is well positioned to meaningfully benefit from just energy transition era due to endowment with mineral deposits that are suitable for green energy production. The IEA further focused that Africa has the potential to produce 5,000 megawatts of hydrogen per year at less than $2 per kilogram, equivalent to global total energy supply today. There can be no ambiguity regarding the importance of African continent to pursue diversified energy sources and systems to ensure security of energy supply whilst transitioning to low carbon economy. However, Africa must not succumb to encirclement by developed economies which continue to put pressure on our continent to move away from all forms of fossil fuels at a pace and scale determined by them.
Finally on the show, renowned Cameroonian author and the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber, NJ Ayuk, has officially released his most recent book titled A Just Transition, Making Energy Poverty History with an Energy Mix. The book sheds light on the sobering reality that is unfolding as ambitious green energy policies continue to stifle and cripple energy economies across Africa. You can order your copy on Amazon. And that's a wrap on the show, and we thank everyone for joining in. Remember to follow Energy Frontiers on Frontier Africa Reports website, subscribe to our YouTube, and follow us across all our social media handles as indicated on the screen. It's goodbye from me, Justina Okechukwu. I'll see you soon.